If you have a closet full of clothes but nothing to wear, these 10 simple rules will change the way that you dress, shop, and feel in your clothes, all without needing a massive wardrobe or a ton of money. Hi and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. I'm McKay. I make videos about practical style tips and small wardrobing. Let's get into it. Tip number 1, only keep what fits right now in your everyday closet. The goal is to have a closet of only real options that you can wear today. If something doesn't fit at the moment, but it might again in the future, no worries. You don't need to get rid of anything, just move it to another place. Ideally, move it to another room or maybe under the bed, somewhere that it's not in sight and in mind. If you must keep it within your closet, try to put those things somewhere that's a little bit more tucked away, maybe in a separate drawer or in some kind of a container, just so that you don't have to see it all of the time. First off, it's mentally exhausting to be keeping tabs of these things and mentally skipping over what you can and can't actually wear, trying to remember what your real options are. Secondly, seeing those pieces regularly can be discouraging. It can feel like a guilt trip or like we're constantly being nagged and reminded that we're a different size than we used to be, and we definitely do not need that. We don't need any kind of negative messaging, negative reminders, any of those things. We have no place for that. Your closet should be a positive space full of wearable things, so if there's anything that makes you feel negative about yourself or just simply isn't an option right now, move it somewhere else. Tip number 2, avoid impulse buys and shop with a wish list. Urgency is the enemy of thoughtful decisions and long-term progress. The more intense your urge is to buy something right now, the more likely it is that you're gonna regret that decision later and you're gonna have to deal with that item again. You're gonna have to figure out if you wanna declutter it or sell it or what you're gonna do with it, not to mention it's a waste of your hard-earned money. There have been so many times where I've had an idea enter my brain and I feel like there's a sudden gap that I have to fill, that there's this urgent need in my closet, that there's something that I have to have right now. And more often than not, those are the things that I forget about the fastest. Those are new, shiny, fun ideas, but don't actually make sense for my closet a lot of the time. Try to let time pass, let the excitement and the newness of this idea or this item wear off so that you can be left with what your true thoughts are and you can make the best decision. Some people have really strict rules about this. It might be 24 hours or 48 hours, it might be a week or even longer. Don't get too stuck on the exact time frame, but try to use your best judgment and give yourself time to really slow down and think and let the excitement wear off, however long that takes. I try to let things sit on my wish list for as long as possible within reason, and the things that are on my wish list for the longest generally tend to be the best decisions, where I find the perfect version or I decide that I don't need something, maybe it's actually something else that I need, and I have the most mental clarity. Some things sit on my wish list for weeks, other times it's months, other times it's several seasons that will go by. But at the very least, I try to never buy something the exact same day that I see it. I try to give it at least a day, unless there's a legitimate reason that would prevent me from waiting. For example, if you're traveling or if you're at a thrift store, if you see something that's on sale and there's only one left. But even then, try to at least pause and take a minute, think, really slow down and ask yourself if this is what you really want and if it's going to be getting you closer to your goal of having a curated wardrobe, or if this is just going to be a distraction that's going to take you further away from that goal. Maybe pick it up, add it to your cart, and even do a lap around the store, check out a couple other things, and give yourself just a few minutes to cool off and decide if this is really what you want. Basically, have stopgaps in place, and a wish list is a really great place to start and to make sure that you're staying on track with your goals. If you're building a wish list and you're not sure where to start, I made a video about how to audit your closet and your lifestyle to create a vision that works for your style. I also made another video all about how to find the right inspiration based off your environment and your surroundings, so I'll make sure to link those videos down below if you want to check them out. Tip number 3, avoid single wear pieces. You don't need a new outfit for every wedding, every vacation, or whatever special event that you have coming up. Try to buy things that can be reworn several times and styled in different ways. Try to limit these areas, and as you're shopping, consider things that can either be reworn or restyled in different ways so that you can get the most use out of these things. That might mean having a mini collection of special occasion pieces or vacation wear or what have you. Better yet, build a wardrobe where you can wear the same pieces in multiple settings, whether it's for work or vacation or travel. Try to wear things that can be reused and worn in multiple ways. Tip number 4, limit items that serve the same function. This could be literal as far as avoiding items that are duplicates, but it could also extend to things that would be worn and styled in the same way or things that would have a similar effect. For example, if you love sweaters and you have multiple sweaters that are the same type of fit, maybe you really love cashmere fitted sweaters and you have different colors of them, while they are technically different and you would have different outfits, they would really give you the same effect. Whether it's a gray sweater or a brown sweater, if they have the same fit, the same fabric, they're not really giving you much versatility. I highly recommend aiming to add as much variety as possible. That could include different weights, different colors, different materials, different cuts. All of these things are going to give you a much more wearable closet. You'll be able to mix and match and feel like your looks are distinctly different from each other, and you're going to have a lot more options. Going back to sweaters, here are some options that would give you the most versatility and range while also feeling different and fun and unique so you don't get too bored. You could have something like a fitted cashmere sweater, something oversized and boxy, as well as a cardigan, and then maybe one more that's just a fun print or stripes. Ideally, these would all be in different colors and probably different fabrics, or at least fabric weights. And this is gonna give you so many options of things that you can wear. The same thing is true for jeans. You really don't need a whole lot. Maybe you wanna have a wide leg pair, a straight leg pair, and something that's a bit more slim. Try to have those in different washes and you can recreate just about anything. All this to say, add variety wherever you can. That's gonna help keep your closet small, but very functional and wearable. Tip number 5, have a color palette. I can't stop talking about color palettes. It really is so important if you want to have a minimal closet, and it's going to help make sure that everything is cohesive and that things mix and match easily. The tighter your color palette is and the more clear you are on what colors you will and won't invite into your closet, the easier it's going to be to get dressed. I highly recommend that you consider a color palette that's within your color season if you're interested in color analysis, or at the very least choosing either warm tones or cool tones. If you have warm undertones, you're probably going to look and feel your best in things that are also warm toned, and if you have cool tones, the same is true. So I highly recommend that you stick to that if possible for the most part, because it's going to make life much easier. If you want to take it a step further, you can also consider the level of contrast that you have in your features. For myself, I have a medium level of contrast, so a lot of the colors I wear are also medium levels of contrast. I tend to reach for a lot of mid-tones, and those just tend to work really easily. You definitely want to spend some time thinking about these colors, the things that you feel good in, the things that you want to wear, because this is going to be the foundation of a lot of your decisions. You want to make sure that you're including a few neutrals as well as some colors. My neutrals are off-white, gray, and cool brown. And then I also have several colors to choose from. Tip number 6, know what silhouettes and proportions work for you. Really take time to reflect on the things that you like and feel best in and what things are flattering for you. Are there certain things that you want to emphasize or de-emphasize? What are your goals and what makes you feel your best? Consider if you prefer more tailored fits versus more oversized and relaxed fits. Are there certain necklines that you like or dislike? Do certain lengths or shapes look best on your body? Really try to reflect on those things. For example, I have a long torso and short legs, which gives the illusion that I'm shorter than I am. So one of my goals is to look for things that are elongating, as well as things that balance my proportions. One way that I do this is through shorter tops or crop tops and high-waisted bottoms. I also look for things that are cinched at the waist or A-line, especially when it comes to skirts and dresses, which give me the ability to kind of hide where my legs start and stop, because you have no way of knowing in a skirt or a dress. So those things definitely help balance my proportions a little better. I've also come to realize that I love the look of oversized, relaxed fits on other people, but they can quickly overwhelm me, especially if things have wider, boxier fits. I prefer things that have a little bit of lightness to them, things that are airy, things that are more narrow and more delicate. Even when it comes to shoes, I find that I gravitate towards shoes that are a bit more delicate over things that are super chunky. I avoid anything that has a lot of width or is visually heavy, as those things just tend to overwhelm me and make me feel like I'm swimming. So those are things that I don't want to add to my closet. This can also apply to things like hem lengths. I found that sometimes really long silhouettes can kind of look a bit off on me. They just don't look right. I could give a million other examples, but I think I'm going to leave it at that. But learning how to balance your proportions and figuring out what silhouettes you like go a really long way. This is a skill that will get easier with practice, and it's something that I'm still actively learning a lot about, but it's so interesting to me and it definitely makes a big difference. Tip number 7, use the 80-20 rule. When you're building a minimal wardrobe, it can get really easy to get focused on versatility and cost per wear. And while those things are great, if you're overly focused on it, it can lead to a closet that's a little bit bland, it falls a little flat, and it's not especially unique or interesting. This is where it's important to have balance and to not just have things that are versatile, that mix and match well, but things that are also fun and that are statements. This is where the 80-20 rule comes in, where it can be helpful to have about 80% of your pieces focused on basics, things that are versatile, and then about 20% of your pieces that are a bit more fun, more statement pieces. This could be something like a printed blouse or a fun bag or shoes that feel really interesting and exciting to you. Those are the pieces that'll keep your closet interesting and personal and will make sure that getting dressed is fun. This is definitely something that I'm personally focusing on. I found I was a little too focused on basics in the beginning, and now I'm trying to circle back and add things that are a bit more fun and things that spark joy. Tip number 8, prioritize natural fibers. You want to look for natural fibers. Things like cotton, cashmere, wool, linen, and silk are all going to be really great fibers to choose from. These fibers tend to be really breathable, they're comfortable, they look great, and they're going to continue looking great over the long run. Whereas a lot of synthetics tend to not look as nice, and they tend to really show wear quickly, and they tend to break down. Plastic is in absolutely everything these days, from polyester to acrylic to nylon. It is everywhere. And while synthetics can have a place, they do sometimes serve functional purposes. At least 9 times out of 10, they're just used as cheap filler. These things just don't look as good. They're not breathable. They're gonna cause you to sweat. They're also gonna hold on to odor. And as they start breaking down, they're really hard to maintain. So for example, if you have something like wool or cashmere that starts to pill, that's no problem. It's really easy to take care of and make it look brand new again. But when you have something like acrylic that's meant to look like cashmere, it's really just going to pill up in this really horrible way that can't be fixed. Oftentimes that pilling can't be removed, and it's just going to look worse and worse with every wear and every wash. You're also gonna have to wash synthetics a lot more often, which is going to contribute to its deterioration. Not to mention they just don't ever look as good. They don't look like the real thing. And once you start to notice it, you're not gonna unsee it. They might have this strange artificial shine that just doesn't look right. They might have a really odd hand feel or something that feels really soft at first, but it just doesn't feel right. Another thing is that a brand that's looking to cut corners and use the cheapest material possible probably isn't gonna have the highest quality of sewing, and they're probably gonna be cutting corners wherever they can. They're not investing in durable craftsmanship and taking the time to reinforce things and make things sturdy so that they'll last. They're probably not spending much time making sure that things are fitted properly at a variety of sizes and to make sure that the cuts are actually flattering. These are brands that are doing things as quickly, as cheaply as possible. Try to avoid synthetics. Try to stick to at least 80% natural fibers or higher if you can, and I guarantee the natural fibers are always going to look better. Again, with an asterisk there, unless there is a very practical reason that you have something synthetic, like a pair of anti-wrinkle trousers, something like that would make sense, but otherwise, natural fibers are the easiest way to elevate your wardrobe. Tip number 9, give yourself an allowance to buy better. If you're used to shopping fast fashion or ultra fast fashion or even just thrifting, it can be pretty jarring to see higher price tags. Something that really helped me was setting aside money and giving myself a bit of an allowance to spend on higher priced items. I gave myself permission to spend the money on the thing that I really wanted instead of the next best thing. I knew that I wanted to curate my wardrobe, and I figured that if I was slowly acquiring pieces like this, maybe one thing every month, that I would eventually get to a point where I was really happy with everything that I had, and it definitely helped quite a bit. I'm someone who's naturally inclined to find alternatives and to go thrifting and to try to find some kind of alternative to the higher priced item, but I wanted to try actually spending a little bit more and getting the one thing that I wanted instead of the next best thing. So I gave myself a monthly allowance, and I had a general number in mind that I wanted to put towards something new and something nice. This rule is something that helped me buy my first Cézanne sweater. It's something that I otherwise wouldn't have normally gotten. I was looking at alternatives. I didn't like them as much, but when I gave myself permission to make this investment, it's something that I ended up being really happy with, and the sweater that I got is one of my most worn pieces in my entire wardrobe, and I'm so glad that I got it. Tip number 10, declutter your closet regularly. Big declutters are really satisfying, but they're not always the most realistic. Focus on consistency over volume, especially if you are newer to decluttering and it feels especially challenging. Start with the easiest decisions first. If there are obvious things that you know you're not going to wear again, start with those. call it a day, and then come back later. Eventually, as you start to declutter things and realize that you don't miss them, you're gonna build up that muscle, you're gonna build confidence in yourself, you're gonna know that you're making great decisions, and it's gonna get easier and easier. I like to keep what I call the pile of doom in the bottom of my closet, and this is a place where I can put things at any time. I can also take things out at any time, and this is kind of a cooling off area where if I'm on the fence about something, I can put something in that little corner of mine and come back to it at a later date. It may be weeks or months later, but by the time I've come back to it, I almost always have forgotten about it, and it kind of lets me fall out of love with things and forget about it. By then, the emotional attachment is gone and it's really easy to get rid of. I let myself pull anything out at any time, but to be honest, I rarely do. Like any skill, start small, keep practicing, and you will get better. There you have it. Those are my tips. These are the rules that helped me build a closet that I actually love. One that fits my life, reflects my style, and makes getting dressed easier. And I hope they do the same for you. If you want to go deeper, check out my playlist about wardrobe curation and style tips. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.